Now then, people, welcome back to the Just Joe Football Show, and it's time for another episode of the Midweek Fix. I hope you're all doing great. Well, I guess, can you be? I don't know. I think we're just like holding on out. We're waiting for the next game to come around to see if Leeds United's fortunes can be turned. Because as the title says, we are currently favourites for relegation. On tonight's show, we are going to have a chat about whether or not Leeds can turn it round and try look for, what we need to do over the next 4 fixtures. We're away at Arsenal, we're at home to Chelsea, at home to Brighton, then obviously the final game of the season finishes with Brentford away down at the Brentford Community Stadium. So yeah, we're gonna have a little chat about that. I want to know your thoughts.
It's a funny name, that, isn't it?
It is the Brentford Community Stadium.
No, I know. They could have named it something a bit more snazzy. You know what I mean?
I know.
A bit more eye-catching.
What do they say they are? A bus stop in Hounslow? That's it, right?
Bus stop in Hounslow.
Yeah, so they've come.
Oh God, and they might be in the Premier League instead of us. How tragic is
that? it's a big possibility. It's a big possibility. Please do like the video as well. Like the video if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel, get your comments in, hit the notification bell, and the guests. Well, are they guests? No, the lads. The lads' channels are in the description as well. You'll notice we have someone new with us as well today. Max from Leeds Lately, another YouTube channel. Lewis is probably still resting up after being.
Yeah, I called him earlier, and then some bird answered the phone, and she told me basically, in other words, to F off. Yeah, a couple of birds actually. Yeah, they're mid argument about it. I am.
Oh, right.
Okay. There's probably more. Yeah.
Was it his mum? Could it have been his mum?
Oh, no.
Definitely not,
No. Not Lewis.
Big shout out to Lewis's mum, by the way. This isn't anything. I know she watches some of the content as well, so big shout out to Lewis's mum.
Yeah, shout out to you.
If you are watching. Max, Leeds Lately. How are you doing, pal? Tell us a little bit about yourself, and of course, I want to know where your head's at now with Leeds United.
Cheers, mate. Yeah, I started a Leeds Lately YouTube channel about 1.5 years ago in January, right before we lost that game to Crawley. So my second video was a big picture of Kiko Casilla. Actually, it wasn't. It was a big picture of the scoreline, and it just said, "Sell him now." And it was obviously about Kiko. And that was my second ever video, and it got 1.2k views. And I was like, bloody hell, I'm straight in
starting off with a bang.
Yeah.
After that, I had a few with about 50 views, but we won't talk about that.
I love that. Like that. This game's easy, baby.
Yeah. 2 videos for 1.2k. It took me 1.2k videos to get 50 views, man.
Yeah, but obviously, like I say, straight back down to earth again. Then I sort of realised about creating thumbnails and titles, and I think I've just been getting better basically over the last year or so. And then recently, I did the Jesse Marsch video. That one went quite big. That's my highest viewed ever because there's so much stuff about him on the internet to find. He's done so many talks and stuff. So I thought he was such an interesting coach to delve into. But yeah, that's where I'm at really. Just making the content and praying to God that we don't go down.
Good stuff. Exactly. Make sure you go check it out. Probably some of you here, like when I first came on, probably haven't seen a lot of his stuff. So make sure you go check it out. Yeah, Leeds Lately. All right.
Yeah.
Cheers, lads.
100%.
No spelling there. All capital L's, two capital L's. I'm guessing.
Yes.
Get your asses over there. Yeah. 129 of you in here. Go check him out after the show.
Yeah, after the show. I have put the link to everyone's channel, including JT's as well. The Hype Man. He's starting to get coined the Hype Man now. JT.
I can see why.
Yeah. He loves it. Just on that as well. I tell you what, we'll start with that, right? We're going to start. And I'll come to you actually, Max. Do you feel that Jesse talks a little bit too much?
He's one of them. I think abroad, there's not as much media attention on that sort of thing, especially in Austria, maybe a little bit more in Germany, but he was only in that job for 5 months. I think in England, he sort of started doing a few interviews and realizing, this is not just a few people seeing this. Like when he went on TalkSport and then he said that thing about Bielsa overtraining the players. Yeah. I don't think he particularly meant that in a malicious way. I think he's not used to pretty much having to walk on eggshells with the English media because they will TalkSport instantly tweet Jesse Marsch says Bielsa overtrained the players, and then you get loads of Leeds fans going mad about it, and it like
myself included. I was one of my. They got me hook, line, and sinker.
Well, I think that's what he's going to sort of realise is that he needs to be a bit more careful about what he actually says in interviews and whether he does interviews like that, because most managers don't tend to.
Does he need to, though? Because he strikes me as someone who doesn't really give a rat's ass, which is something that's actually quite refreshing, especially for the neutral.
The reason I say this as well, JT, and I'll ask you this question, right? Because I was listening to Square Ball earlier, big shout out to them while I was doing my dog walk on the morning. And I didn't realise afterwards he'd done the interview and they asked him about why it was he got a yellow card, right? Why it was he got a yellow card. And he'd said, basically, it's human psychology 101. I didn't like what the referee was doing. So therefore, I called him over. We had an argument. Within the next move, one of the Man City players picked up a yellow card. That's why I did it. Now, and the Square Ball explained it much better than me, but they said that's probably true. But the fact you've now put that out there, right, in the
they're all
ether,
gonna know the rest.
now the referee
is he too open for his own
get on
good?
The wrong side of them, or they're going to go, well, next time you call me over, even though you try to implant it in my psyche, I'm not going to do it. And then I thought, maybe he is talking a little bit too much. And I guess with that Bielsa, who never spoke at all, to now a guy who's
But is he double bluffing? Is this all an absolute master plan? Is he trying to get them hooked in so then he can slag them off and they won't come and book him and they won't listen to him? Is he just playing with people? Is he throwing it out there so other managers now are suddenly like, oh, hang on a second, maybe this geezer's onto something. Maybe I'm going to start doing this.
Well,
I think, though... Go on, sorry.
You know what I mean? Klopp does it. Like, they do it, but they don't come out after and go, I did that because I knew that this was happening. Do you know what I mean? It's like...
I think if you're mid-table and you're safe, or you're challenging for a European position or something, doing all these things, no one's going to give a crap because you're basically in a position where you're never going to go down. In this position that we're in right now, when everybody's nervous and anxious anyway as a fan base, you're then speaking too much a little bit in the media, then it starts to be like an excuse or a stick to beat him with, basically. He gives fans an excuse to say, oh, well, he's saying all this stuff in the media, he's distracting the players, or, you know, the sort of things that people would say. So maybe the situation we're in doesn't help.
Does he really care? Does he really care? And that's kind of a good thing that I like about him. You know what? He doesn't really give a rat's ass if the fans start going at him or the media goes at him. And actually, it's straight out of the Jose Mourinho playbook. It's straight out of the Mourinho playbook, because if everyone's going at Jesse Marsch and everyone's having a go at him for some of the funny stuff he said, the same way they did when Mourinho was going a bit mad in the media, guess what? No one's talking about the players. No one's talking about his players. All of a sudden, he's alleviating stress off them.
Yeah, that's true. And that's the thing. When he said he only came in, the first thing he said was, I want to alleviate stress. I want to calm down the environment. I mean, I don't know how well that's going now. But
he stood on the pitch at 4-0 down going, yeah.
So that's another thing as well. I think when he was doing that, I think he was, from where I was in the cheese wedge, and it seemed like he was pointing like that, pointing to the fans as if he's saying like, you're what's going to keep us up.
Yeah. Which
trying to be
I think that's what
against
was
psychology.
Said. And this is what I mean. I don't get embroiled in it in social media, but I agree with you, Max. Like, for me, I was like, it's not that deep. I think he's like saying like, thank you so much for this support. You are pumping us up. You know what I mean? And come on, we can do this together kind of vibe.
Yeah. Well, we all moan, don't we, when the players...
Well, I don't think he was going around knee sliding like, get in there. We just...
Well, he might as well have been, bro. To some sections of the fan base, he might as well have been. He was like going, yeah.
Yeah.
Calls his wife, break out the red panties. We got a 4-0 win on the 4-0 defeat on the cards.
I don't know.
He's probably just...
It's just different. It's a shock to the system.
Yeah.
It's like when he comes out in an interview and he's like, yeah, well, to be honest, man, I was never going to start Calvin Phillips. You know, it's kind of...
I think he's massively into his psychology, to be honest.
Yes.
I think that's
a lot of Americans are.
Especially with his leadership group that he's calling, and he's invited a wider range of people into that. You've got Rodrigo in there now, and he's trying to put an arm round players, especially like Rodrigo, and saying, I bet he said to him, like, look, you're the most important player in this team.
Yeah.
And I bet he said that to a few people in private, separately, because that's what some players need. And then Rodrigo, since he's come in, has been really good for the most part.
But then what happens when it starts to go tits up? And this is my worry. And they're all sat there going, did he say you? He told me I work back. Then lagging back. I'm not having this. Do you know what I mean?
Have a line of them all queuing up to knock on his door. You told me I was the best.
Yeah, exactly. And this is just part of the Americanization of football that is going to happen and will happen. That is just a bit of a culture shock people need to get their heads around. Whilst there's a lot of negatives and there's a lot of factors that don't gel between American sports and English sports, there's also a lot of areas in which, in terms of sports psychology, in terms of training methodologies and all these kind of things, American sports are leaps and bounds ahead of English sports. And there's some of those things that is going to be brought over.
I do think, though, if you even look back to Bobby Robson's time at Newcastle, I've listened to a few podcasts with Alan Shearer talking about him and stuff, and he was notorious for being a fantastic man manager, and I don't think he did that much.
Did you hear the Kieran Dyer one?
Yes, I did.
When he was like podcast. Crying. Yeah, he was crying, and he said, came in, he's like, "Love what you did, mate." But
because he there was a senior coach who was giving a lot of shit basically to a young player. And so Kieran Dyer stood up and had a big go at him back. Bobby Robson came in, bollocked Kieran Dyer, and said, "Look, you shouldn't be talking to staff like that." Afterwards, he pulled him to one side and said, "Love what you did there."
Showed you a true leader. Showed you a true captain.
But he couldn't. He said, "I couldn't be seen to do that in front of the senior coach."
Yeah.
And so I think it has been part and parcel of our game for years.
Management's always been a big thing. Of course it is. And psychology has always been a big thing. But it's just
I just think they didn't put as many labels on it. Like what you're saying was when they're proper into their psychology and they've researched it, I think it was more a feeling that people like Bobby Robson would have.
Sexual healing. Yeah, but that's some of them. They weren't all like that. They weren't all like that back then. It's becoming more open now, and they're getting more staff around it for sure. But I get what you're saying. But Bobby Robson was just a special breed, wasn't he?
Yeah,
he was just ahead of his time. Sir Bobby, sorry.
I feel like JT's championing halftime shows and wants cheerleaders at Elland Road by the sounds of this.
No, that's right. Yeah, get your ass out of there. Stop trying to put this false narrative around. Right? Could you imagine that, man?
I'm the one sat in a baseball jersey, bro, so I can't really say what, can I?
Exactly. You know what I mean? Americanization right there. No, but could you imagine getting beaten like 2-0 by Man U, and then you got a flipping Rihanna coming out twerking at halftime? Not going to go down too well on the South Stand. Put it that way.
No, definitely not. No, for sure. Right. Okay. So I just started with that because obviously Max mentioned about Jesse and the video that he did, which I did watch, mate, and it was really, really enjoyable. So thank you for that. But let's have a think. Obviously, me and James came on here on Sunday after the Everton win. Rightly, we're all on the floor. The general consensus seems to be not only in the media and with the bookies, but even big sections of the Leeds United fan base, from what I can see on social media anyway, seem to resign to the fact. And I've seen news outlets crunching the numbers for next season, like to tell us what we'll have in terms of player sales and that. And I'm like, wow, are we really going that deep? But Max, are you resigned to the fact there's a long way to go, man? There's 4 games, right?
Well, first of all, I think we are one of the most pessimistic fan bases in the country, so I think that doesn't help. And Twitter is like all of those people together.
Yes.
And you see, it's like confirmation bias. Somebody else says it, and you think, "Oh yeah, we are going down."
Yeah.
But I just think teams at the bottom of the table do not put together 4 wins in a row, like ever. And Burnley are on the 3rd, aren't they?
Yes.
They cannot keep winning. Statistically, it's off the charts if they just win every game until the end of the season. And they've won 3 in a row.
Michael Jackson, though, man.
Yeah. Everton have beaten Chelsea, which none of us saw coming, really. I just thought, Chelsea will get an equaliser. Gets later into the game, Chelsea will get an equaliser. Later into the game, oh my God. And somehow they've won. But they cannot keep winning. They've got Leicester away. I think it's Everton's away games that are more likely to come up with losses for them. At Goodison, they're not that bad. Away from home,
Yeah.
You just like to hope that, to be honest, if Everton and Burnley both lost the next game and we even get a point or 3, then we're above both of them again.
Yeah.
And everyone's saying, oh yeah, we only need a one more win or something like that. Like
we need 3 more wins. We need 3. That 42 points is needed. I don't care. I don't care what conclusions you got from your supercomputer last week. Yeah, it doesn't mean Jack diddly squat, mate. All right,
because 42 points, right? Wins. My man said 42 points, and he had a look in the table. Damn right. 42 points got you at 11th. I was like, what? Like, we don't need that many. I agree with Max. I think, we could see a weekend, right? Like Burnley are away at Villa. Away, yeah, they're away, right? Burnley get beat. So. Yeah, let's say. Everton are really, really bad away from home, right? Really bad. But Leicester, I can't. Like, I think James, you were saying it the other day. The way they've been performing in the league,
man. They're
rubbish, man. I can't. I don't know if I can back them.
How we didn't even beat them in his first game was beyond me. Yeah,
you just think they've got enough quality to beat Everton though, with some of the players that they've got.
Yeah,
like Harvey Barnes, like the stuff he does against us every time we play him. Like, just do that against them for us, please. Just cut inside and whip it in the top corner, like 3 seconds after they've scored, like he did to us earlier in the season.
Yeah,
they've got quality up top. They can score goals, and the midfield is decent as well. Like, it's like they've got all the tools there to demolish Everton, but it's whether they can actually.
Yeah, but they can also fold in like a pancake on their day. So, so
this is true.
Well, that's
just don't know who's going to turn up.
Like Marsch says, like there's no point looking at any of the other games because we've just got to try and win ours. Like there's nothing we can do but try and win our games.
Yeah, and that's the mad thing, isn't it? I know sort of everyone's resigned to the fact, but ultimately, we still have a 2-point gap. Do you know what I mean? We still have a 2-point gap over
Everton. That game in, but as well because that psychology again probably comes into it. But because that game, like you said before, if that game where they catch up for games played, their game in hand, if that comes right before the last game of the season, do you know what I mean? We could still be ahead of them at that point, and psychologically, they think we have to win this game to catch them.
Yeah.
More pressure on them, maybe. Maybe I'm clutching at straws.
But also very much like we have to win. Like they're 1-0 up at half time, imagining that game, and it's like you've got 45 minutes away from Premier League safety. You're literally just all stand behind the ball for 45 minutes. Do you know what I mean? It's going to be a mad one. I mean, this weekend we've got Arsenal. Not won there since 2003, when Mark Viduka scored that late goal. I honestly
technically never won in the Emirates.
Yeah. So there you go. But I mean, it's going to be a tough place, and it's going to be hard for us to get a point this weekend. I even feel.
Oh no!
I do. I think we'll struggle.
Come on, Joe. You're better than this. No, you know it. You can see it as well as I can. You're being about as straight as a bent ruler. Come on, man. This is. You can see it, man. You think
we'll get something down there?
Look, you're gonna laugh at me again, but I was walking to the store earlier.
Don't do this. Don't do this.
I think it depends what Leeds show up on the day, doesn't it? Because against City, even Guardiola said, I suppose he says this a lot just to make people feel better after his teams demolish people, but he did say that if they play like that, then you can't see why they wouldn't beat anybody else in the league, basically. So if that Leeds turns up where we maybe go for the same formation again, or at least try and be a little bit more defensive and hit them on the break, if that Leeds turns up, then it's winnable. It's always winnable. But if the Leeds turned up against Palace and every 2 seconds we're passing the ball to a Palace player's feet or we're passing it into touch and none of our passes are coming off and it's just a horrible bitty game where everything's scrappy, then we could get beaten by a few.
But those are the games you got to win. Those scrappy games with nothing. Look, I'll put it. Look, obviously, I'm not going into this with 100% confidence. Like I'm maybe putting out there. But if you are going to stay up and you're in a relegation battle like this, guess what? You're going to need to pull out all the stops. You're going to need to do something you haven't done in 17, 18 years. You're going to have to do something no one would ever think you could. You're going to, who would have thought, like you say, Michael Jackson would have come back and got them 3 wins on the spin? Who would have thought that Everton would have started turning up against Man United and Chelsea? If you're going to stay up, you're going to have to do the unpredictable things. And one of them is going over to the Emirates and getting a result. And if we don't, look, I know it's not likely, but it's also not likely that we stay up for a good proportion. So we got to perform in one of these games.
Yeah, but the home ones, man.
I genuinely do think we stand, even though Chelsea are probably a better side, I genuinely think we stand more of a chance, especially with them. Yeah. A, it's at home. B, they've got the FA Cup final that weekend. Yeah. So it could be.
And Chelsea have checked out, man. Chelsea have checked out.
Arsenal are right up their cracks, man.
No, Chelsea have checked out, bro. Chelsea know that they've got top 4. They're not bothered. I don't know if it's going well behind the scenes at Chelsea. Roman Abramovich is now coming out saying he wants
behind the scenes
1 point. No, but I mean, even with Tuchel and the players in the dressing room, and then now Roman Abramovich wants his however many billions back that he said he didn't want initially. So I just feel that they're going through the motions a little bit, and the Tuchel and the players will be the same. You've got Christensen leaving, you've got Rudiger leaving. It's all over the shop. The Lukaku situation.
Because their only chance for a trophy this season is the FA Cup, they're going to be so focused on trying to win that I don't know what, if they can't break down that Everton defence.
No, exactly.
Then there's something not quite right with the amount of money, the amount of talent in that squad.
Yeah.
So I like to fancy our chances.
Do you think they're going to want to go into an FA Cup final on the back of a defeat? Of course they're not.
They're always going to win the game, aren't they? But it's whether...
Chelsea are always going to beat Leeds. Well, yeah, you were just saying you have more confidence of us getting a result. Now you're saying Chelsea are always going to beat us. So there's 2 different stories right there.
No, I didn't mean that. I didn't mean that they would beat us. I just think, especially given the game that we played against them earlier in the season, it was penalties that allowed them to win that game.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And I think, especially when we were
That
performing
gives me less confidence, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah, when you perform really well against
JT, I'm confused, right? You genuinely feel that we have more of a chance away at Arsenal than at home to Chelsea?
Yes, Chelsea are a better team than Arsenal. Chelsea will be going into an FA Cup final, which they need to win. Chelsea are not completely home and dry yet. They need at
Arsenal
least
are going for top 4 against their North London counterparts.
Exactly, but Chelsea are still they're not that far away from Arsenal. 3 points, isn't it? They're not, and plus they're going to be going into a final. They need to have good momentum going into that, and they just lost to Everton. They're not going to want to spiral away again and lose to another relegation candidate.
They already have, bro. They've gone, man. They're checked out. They've got
the fact we got so close and didn't win. That's what. Again, I don't know if you can go that close twice.
But Chelsea were at a different total level at that point to where they're at now.
They went on 10 defeats or 10 games without a win after that game.
Do we look at form as well then? Because Arsenal have been on fire and blowing a few teams away recently.
Yeah, they have. And that included Chelsea and Man United.
Yeah, they're both. I'm not saying either are easy games. Arsenal's a very, very tough game, of course. I just personally think we've got more of a chance against them than Chelsea. And furthermore, the game comes before that. So I don't want to really be sat there after taking a defeat to Arsenal with just 3 games left, really looking at panic stations.
So I'll put this to you then, JT, right?
Yeah.
You say we need 3 more wins. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
If we lose against Arsenal, is that us relegated then, in your opinion?
No. It's never over till it's over. Never over till the fat lady sings.
But really, what you're saying is Arsenal's the easier game away from home.
Yeah. No, I like the way you're flipping it there. I like the way you're turning the gears up.
But I've definitely backed you into a corner where you're like,
Well, no, look at this. I'm weaving around the corner, ducking and diving, Lee style. No, look, I think I'll never say it's over. I'll never give up hope.
No, I hear that.
Fight, because what's the point in that? You're in the Premier League. You're in it to win it until it's over.
Yeah.
And yeah, maybe we could do it with 2 games. Maybe the other teams do slip up to what I'm feeling. I'm saying 3 points, and I'm confident we'll stay up. If we get 3 points, 3 wins, I'm confident we stay up. If we get 2 wins, there's a chance, and I'm not ruling it out, but I'm not confident with it. But if you tell me we get 3 wins, I'm thinking there's no way we're not staying up.
I'll tell you straight now, we're not getting 3 wins, right? We're not getting 3 wins, but you don't need 3 wins. I think that's asking something that's like, it's not really, like Max was touching on earlier, and I agree with him. It's not feasible really that you'll need 9 points in 4 games in order to stay up. Look, the average, and I know people disagree with me, but I've said this now for about 4 weeks, and we still haven't hit the target. The average has been 35.7 over the last so many seasons, right? We're on 34, right? And I said, let's get to 36 and assess where we're at. I know that's only 2 more points, and there's a lot more to play for, but I genuinely don't. I mean, when was the last time it was 40 points that you needed? I don't know. Max,
I don't know.
What do you think in terms of
the other team was on 32?
Yeah, I
5 games
don't know.
to go.
Yeah, I don't know. But Max,
sorry, I cut you off there.
No, it's all right, mate. What do you think we need in terms of a points return in order to be safe? What's the magic number, do you think?
If you'd asked me a week ago before this weekend just gone, I'd have probably said 37 or 38 where Villa were. But because Everton have now come up to where they have, I think 2 wins and a draw. Okay. But I honestly think 2 wins. I think if we beat Brighton and Brentford, we'd stay up. But so it also makes me think if we could try and hold out for a draw away at Arsenal.
So 41.
Well,
so that 42 isn't looking so far away now, is it?
I see what you did there.
That's worst case scenario, though. I think 6 points is 40 points is enough this season, and I think if Everton though or Burnley decide to start winning, which is worrying that they could do that, then I think we might need some more than that. But I can't see us beating Arsenal away. If I'm really honest, I think a draw against Chelsea would be a really good result, and I don't think. I said we stand more of a chance, but it doesn't mean I think we're going to beat them. So honestly, 6 points, and I think they'd come from the last 2 games, which would be terrifying.
That Brentford one worries me.
Tell me.
Well, Brighton as well. Brighton are a bogey team.
Brighton, 100%. I
feel more confident about Arsenal than Brentford.
The one thing I'm clinging on with Brighton is that it's Jesse Marsch and not Bielsa, because Graham Potter had Bielsa's number. He had him beat, I think.
But it was always close, wasn't it? It was we never got battered by them. It was always by the odd goal. Yeah. But like you say, it's to do with the fact that it was Bielsa's system, and because it's a new system. And I wonder what it would look like if we looked at past Brighton versus Southampton games, because Southampton play in that sort of a similar to Marsch Red Bull style gegen-pressing team. And I wonder what their recent results have been against them.
I dare even look just in case.
Just in case that's terrible and they've smashed it. But it'll be a different story, I think, with a different system and a different way of playing.
I agree. And JT, at least we know as well, like in comparison to Bielsa, Jesse Marsch will switch it up. And listen, you know my thoughts on Bielsa. I backed him to the hill right until the end, would still do if he was here now. But like
you and me both, bro.
Yeah, with
the 3 of us.
Yeah, there you go. That's what I mean. My people, my tribe. I think one thing I will give a feather in the cap to in Jesse Marsch is this: he will switch it up, right? And I do think, although we were beat by 4-0, it was nice to see the 3 centre backs and the wing backs, right? And you know, he could go to Arsenal and adopt that tactic, and maybe we could shut them out. And you never know, you know. And would I take a point away at the end? 100%. Sting the place out for me. I don't care.
I also think that playing wing backs is almost giving Leeds fans the width that they've been crying out for.
100, yeah, I agree.
And I was also listening to the Square Ball, and they said jokingly, but then thought, actually, that's quite a good idea, where they said Jackie on one side, Rafa on the other as wing backs. Because you've got 3 defenders, and you could play Calvin in the middle, who's a holding midfielder, and those 2 providing the width.
Yeah, but then where's my guy Firpo going to play? You're going to put him at centre back.
Don't even talk to me about that.
You can't not utilize senior Firpo. I think Firpo in a wing back role would be beautiful. You guys are thinking about Junior Firpo. Junior Firpo is gone. Junior Firpo is done and dusted. This is Senior Firpo.
Senior Firpo's his dad, and he's probably about 60.
Firpo he's going to turn it on.
No, someone. I started this comment earlier because David Lofthouse makes a good point.
I know. I feel bad for him. I really like Saka. I think he's a great young talent. Right?
You feel bad for
him. I feel bad that he's gonna have to stunt to him, man. Poor guy.
Please,
poor guy.
He's not good, is he?
No. I think he played well.
I've seen people say that on social media. I didn't see that personally.
I saw him completely
when they sprayed it across the pitch, and
I saw him completely half-assed a challenge where they just knocked it through his legs and ran around him, and I just thought, oh my god, that was easy.
Who's Sterling?
Yeah, I think so.
But Sterling can do that to anyone. I told you, Sterling is different.
I feel like I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying in third put, but there was even in the lead up to the corner, he got beat. Far too easily, you know what I mean?
Sometimes he's square-footed, yeah. But if he's playing wing-back, then he's got someone at least to cover for him. And going forward, he can offer something a little bit more.
When was the last game he didn't get a yellow card?
Like Jesse Marsch was saying, it's just all part of the mental warfare.
Oh, man.
I think about agreeing with you because wing backs sometimes, like Marcus Alonso for Chelsea. I remember Chelsea fans absolutely
court cases going on.
Well, yeah, but they complained about him as a left back. But when he played left wing back with the 3 at the back, they're all like, "Oh, he's absolutely class in that position."
Yeah.
So
that's true.
The only thing with Firpo is he gets into some really attacking positions and he gets in the box to have shots all the time, but he just Alioski's it over the bar every time. Which he had a chance against City, and he should have just kept his head over the ball.
Alioski used to score some bangers.
No, but this is what I'm saying. At least Alioski once every 10.
Yeah,
you know what I mean,
he would score. He would absolutely.
He wouldn't just get goals. He would get vital goals, like the goals to put it 1-0 to 2-0. Get a vital goal to kill the game off. Firpo, that's the one thing he's missing. Great chance again against City, smashing into Rose Ed.
Yeah. It's so disappointing as well because I remember doing. Obviously, me FPL and all that sort of stuff at the start of the season. I genuinely had Harrison and Firpo because I thought that left-hand side for Leeds with a better left-back than Alioski would be lethal.
And we're signing a left-back from Barcelona.
Exactly. Yeah, no, exactly. So I got really
could have got Emerson Royale.
Oh, I know, yeah. They've had
I do think, though, that Orta sometimes goes for a bit of an ego signing.
Yeah.
And
100%.
when Rodrigo came in, it was like, oh, he's played Champions League, he's played for Valencia, and he came in and wasn't great. He's okay now, he's doing well now, but do you know what I mean? And he's gone for a left back from Barcelona.
Yeah. He did it at Borough as well. He bought what was it, Victor Valdez. He brought others in as well. He brought in Balogun. I remember my pal actually. Now I think Balogun, I'm not sure where he is, but I think he's doing well now. But when he was at Borough,
which Balogun, the Arsenal youngster or the other one?
No.
He's playing in Europe actually. The other guy, I forgot. I was literally watching him.
I'll check, but my mate said he's one of the worst fullbacks he'd ever seen. Do you know what I mean?
Is he not playing for Rangers? He is playing for Rangers, isn't he?
I don't know. I'll do some research now. I'll check. But yeah, Orta, I agree with you there, Max. Sometimes it's really hit or miss, isn't it?
We were linked, weren't we, to people like Javi Gallan from Huesca, some other players, Romain Perrault that went to Southampton.
Yeah.
He's done all right. And
Rangers.
if we'd have signed somebody like that, then who knows? It could have turned out a lot better than just saying, "Oh, we're signing someone from Barcelona." I think now, if we're linked to players, if we stay up, if we're linked to players, I think I'll be a little bit more wary of them. If it's like,
I mean, I was scared the first time we signed Firpo because I was literally talking to a guy who's a Barcelona fan in the chat when we signed him, and he was like, "Flipping 15 million. We've absolutely fleeced you for him there." I mean, little did I know what Firpo was going to turn into, but at that point, I was scared. For the Rodrigo one, I think that's a bit harsh though, because there's an argument that was part of changing the culture of the club. You're transitioning from a championship club to a Premier League club. You need a big signing, a name that everyone knows to get people excited, to get other players excited to come and play alongside him. I think the Rodrigo thing was not just as simple as, okay, he's going to do this role on the pitch, but off the pitch wise, merchandise wise, bringing a Spanish audience in, I know we had Pablo Hernandez, but bringing having a renowned European figure in there suddenly increases the status of the whole club.
I suppose it's hindsight, isn't it? It's hindsight, isn't it? It's easy to look back and say, oh, maybe it was a bit of an ego signing, but at the time they were getting him for what they thought was a snip, because Valencia just had to sell up, didn't they, with loads of their best players. And yeah, like you say, there's merchandise and everything, which I think comes into it with Brendan Aronson as well.
Yeah,
the American audience will support a player rather than a club, and so with Marsch coming here, and if we get Aronson, if we stay up, the shirt sales and stuff in America, like when Pulisic goes to Dortmund, they all bought Dortmund shirts. Then we went to Chelsea, all bought Chelsea shirts. It's like a big commercial aspect of it.
Yeah.
I mean, well, when LeBron James signs for your club, it's always going to be a big deal. So, what can you say?
LeBron James. What did he say? He's the Messi,
didn't he? Soccer.
Yeah, that was it. I'm just looking at Horta's signings as well. It wasn't Balogun. It was Antonio Barragan. Barragan it was, not Balogun. But I'm just looking and there's in there, right? There's Victor Valdez, like you say, Negredo, who they had on loan as well, which was another one. And I also remember, and I can't find it, but they also signed a guy from the Asian market. I'm trying to find it, because if you remember, we did it as well with
who's that Toto? I forgot his name. He didn't even play for our city.
No, Ideguchi, wasn't it? Ideguchi. But this is what I'm saying is, like, really, I understand why you make them signings and stuff. But listen, I do rate Horta, but when you find the situation that we're in now, it is easy to dissect it and think, well, you need to be better.
Who's the most successful signing he's made? Klitsch.
No.
Rafinha.
I would say Bamford. Mate.
Oh, yeah, he did sign Bamford, actually.
Yeah, I would say Bamford. I don't know. I would probably say Bamford. Do you
in the Championship, Klitsch was more important, but maybe in the Premier League, Bamford's been more important.
And Rafinha for the price that we got him for.
Yeah, for the price.
Rafinha, I forgot about Rafa. Yeah. Rafa by far, by a country mile.
Yeah. So
I
mean, Klitsch was out the door before flipping, whatchamacallit came back.
I genuinely think some of our problems this season it's in terms of transfers. Everybody's putting pictures of Kinnear, Horta, and Radrizzani on, saying these are the men that are blame for this season. But I do think Bielsa needs to shoulder a little bit of the blame for the signings wise, just because he is so stubborn about who he wants that even though Dan James went to Man United and we thought, right, well, we're not going to get him now, they then tracked him for that long that they were going to spend 25 million on him, when there could have been other players that he could have bought in who weren't ideal, but could have supplemented our squad considering the injuries this season.
But was that Bielsa or was that Horta?
Well, he's not willing to accept it, or at least the general consensus was that if it's not somebody he completely accepts and wants, then he won't sign them.
Yeah, I hear, right, but now, and I don't. Again, I went along with that whilst he was here, but I'm also starting to question that narrative a little bit now, like after the fact, and maybe it's because I'm just feeling really negative and feeling really I need to apportion blame to someone, so I'm looking at the board and I don't want to put it on my guy because it's difficult for me to do because I love the man. But then I think back to January, and I remember Angus Kinnear's programme notes, and straight away went out with like, yeah, we want to sign people, but Bielsa, he has to be a particular, Bielsa's methods, it has to be a particular type of player, not our fault. And then I think back, and we're seeing it now on social media, where basically Rodrigo de Paul said he wanted to come to Leeds.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He basically responded to a tweet from Square Ball which said, fingers crossed we can get the deal done.
Yeah.
So what happened?
Yeah, and it's not just
Can't
that.
tell me
so
Bielsa
many
didn't
times
want Rodrigo de Paul.
Yeah, Rodrigo de Paul, Nandez, even Lewis O'Brien. You're telling me that we went from Nandez to O'Brien, both of which he said yes to, but yet he's so fussy about.
I don't even think the Nathan Nandez one was a real thing. Like Phil Hay seems to think it wasn't, but the O'Brien one for sure.
Yeah, but we're haggling over 2 million for O'Brien.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I agree with you.
What, you think Bielsa's like,
time.
well, you know what it is, fella. I think 10 million's a bit too much there. No, of course
he's not coming out of his pocket either, is it?
No,
it's
exactly.
At a Premier League level, it's not a lot of money.
No, it's not.
To try and provide yourself with a little bit of backup to stop you being relegated. Like you provide a little bit of backup there, and then maybe you've got a bit of a better replacement for Calvin when he's not there.
Yeah.
And then better than nobody.
Yeah. It's one of them, like, who is that down to? We'll never really know, really, because
we won't find
clubs
out,
don't have enough transparency to be able to see who's.
And the thing is, Bielsa will never come out and say it. He will never, ever come out and say it. He'll never do that.
It's like Wenger at Arsenal got screwed by the board. I'm not saying that's exactly the same here because Wenger was blatantly screwed by the board, but they knew he would never call them out. And now that Bielsa's gone, like you said, are they going to come under a lot more pressure?
Yeah,
what's even going to happen? Are the 49ers going to want to buy us if we go down? I mean, they've already got 45%. What the hell is going to happen to the club? Radrizzani was very, very transparent when he first came in and clear that his goal, get Leeds to the Premier League, double or triple his investment, and then sell. Yeah, he wanted to build the project. Yeah, he wanted to do something for Leeds, but he also wanted to cash in, and he never hid that fact.
I don't think the 49ers will be very happy because I think they've been promised a lot of things.
Yeah.
And if we get relegated, the value of the actual club plummets a lot unless we come straight up again. And they'll say, like, look, we still own 42% or whatever it is, but that 42% is worth a lot less now, and you promised us you'd be staying in this league.
Yeah.
They've put a lot of money in, haven't they, and said, this is what we want to do. So they'll be...
They haven't put jack money in. That's the problem.
Well,
no, they have. They've
put
still
money
paid for their shares.
Yeah.
They've still paid for their shares, haven't they? They've made an investment, which if they go down, they're probably, they're not getting that, are they? Do you know what I mean?
But then that's one sort of thing that you could say is not the end of the world if we do go down, God forbid, that they will want us to come back up so quickly to try and save their investment. So everything in the whole ownership's power will be done to get us straight back up again because of how much money they will lose if we don't. Whereas we didn't have that before. When we spent all those years in the Championship, it wasn't like our owners were going to lose a lot of money. Do you know what I mean? For being there, because that was the way they bought the club was at that value.
Yeah. No, I hear you 100%. No worries, JT. Super chat come from It's Ducker's Fitness says, hope we're all good, lad. Yeah, all doing well, mate. Thank you. Dreamt that we got relegated last night. This shizzle is getting a little concerning now. It sure is. But listen, we've only got 4 games to put up with anyway. Depending on how it lands, at least there's only 4 more games of it. Do you know what I mean? There is.
Yeah, and we've got a midweek as well, haven't we? So
yeah, exactly. So it shortens it even more, doesn't it? It shortens the distance between finding out our fate even more, which is good. But yeah, I don't know that. You hear all sorts of stuff like, is there fallouts at board level? I've seen people, make comments about Parag Malaraf, the guy who like the head honcho at 49ers. I don't really know enough about the board stuff, to be honest, and I don't profess to, but I've seen a lot of stuff on social media where apparently it's not as as cohesive as they would have you believe. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, we've got our own gallivanting in Cape Town with Lucas Radaby, you know what I mean, ahead of like important games. And I know I'm not saying he's not allowed a holiday or whatever, but it all leaves a bit of a sour taste. I think for me, the way I see it, and obviously because the way I see it is right, the club failed to back the best manager we've had, right? Since Revy, failed to back him, and then at the first sign of trouble, sacked him, right? They should have stuck to their guns and stuck with the man, because I think he keeps us in the division. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
You know, Adam Forshaw was the last midfielder we bought, which, correct me if I'm wrong, was about 9 transfer windows ago.
Something like that, yeah. Well,
I mean,
yeah, it's one of them. If they'd have backed him, and if they'd have brought in a midfielder or two, and that was it for this season, rather than like, I don't really think we needed Dan James.
No.
I don't think we. I think if we'd have bought 2 midfielders, a holding midfielder and an attacking midfielder, like Championship, like John Swift and Lewis O'Brien,
Swift, man. Well,
for 12.5 million each.
Taylor Swift, man. Come on, we need Premier League quality here, man.
No, that's so no.
He was top of the assist charts.
Yeah, man. Nah.
Pretty much all season.
Yeah, damn right, elitist. We've got a championship squad. We need some.
No. John Swift could cut him here. Let's not forget where Jared Bowen and them guys came from. There's too much shit.
I'm sure he could cut a ham sandwich, but when you're talking about the finest steak known to mankind, he's going to have a bit of a problem there.
No, but the point Max is making.
I know the point. He could have been spent better. I think we need both, though.
Yeah, but I think it's when you do it. I think if
in January, I agree with you. Look, if we go for John Swift, someone like that in January, yeah, I'm feeling it. But in the summer, if we go for John Swift, I'm sitting there like, why didn't we go for DePaul? Why didn't we go for Nandes? Why didn't we go for? I mean, I know DePaul had gone to Atletico for that point. Why didn't we go for Cunha? Why didn't we go for someone of a much higher caliber? Again, Cunha. Again, he was
another. Yeah.
They have a massive list, don't they, of players that they like. Why can't they just look a little bit further down the list? You try the best ones that you want, like DePaul and Cunha or whatever. I know they said that they didn't actually try for DePaul, but you then go, right, well, we can't get them, so who's the next best option? Like, just for the sake of a few million or whatever, just sign the best player you can that wants to come to the club for the money that you've got available.
Yeah, exactly. Because know this, right? You know, people are throwing shade or whatever, right? Huddersfield will probably come up. Let's say Huddersfield come up, yeah. They'll and O'Brien will boss it. Do you know what I mean? And we'll be like, why didn't we do that? And we'll be in the Championship. This is
it is a tried and tested method to sign Championship players. Other clubs have done it and survived years in the Premier League doing it, signing smartly from the Championship. Because you never get that much. You never have to pay that much for a Championship player. It's never that much.
That wasn't the aspirations they promised us. They didn't promise us, we're going to recycle Championship players.
Do any of that.
Yeah, I know, but I wanted them to push forward like they said they would. They promised us, you're going to be a European club in some years. We're going to give you a 60,000-seater stadium. We're going to bring Leeds back to where we belong. Okay, if you're going to speak all like that, you're going to gas me up. You're going to get me to go and join a season ticket waiting queue. You're going to get thousands of people to come abroad, to come and watch your stuff, to buy the shirts, to do everything for the club. But then you're not going to actually support the what you said. You're not going to back up your words. You're not going to actually go and splash the cash. You're going to haggle over 5 million here, 8 million there. I know the money situation is slightly different. Newcastle's owners, they come out. They're like, we're going to get them back to where they want. They splash loads of millions. Villa, they're like, we want to get Villa back to Europe. They go and spend 100 million each summer. We splash the cash the first year and then it goes away.
I completely agree with you for a summer transfer window. I think summer transfer window, you go for players like that. You get to January in the situation we were in where we're thinking, right, we're not doing great here.
Yeah, you're right.
Then you go, right, you can get a Championship midfielder to help Bielsa out. You've got injuries, you've got illness, COVID, all these things.
In January, I would have quite literally taken Taylor Swift in there. That's how desperate it was in January.
Yeah.
O'Brien, though, right? O'Brien, right? We're haggling over money. I won't have that was at Bielsa's door either, because I always remember, and I forget which story it is, which player it is, but he was at a club, they signed a player. He said the club had overplayed for the player. He went up to the player when they signed him and said, just so you know, I don't think you're worth 20 million, and left it. Straight up. It's on. I'll try and find it, but I remember that. We hear all the Bielsa stories, and that was one of them, right? Where he made a point of going up. So you can't tell me that he wouldn't have accepted. He wasn't the one saying, "We don't want Lewis O'Brien. You're overpaying for him. I don't want him." Do you know what I mean? That was the club who were being pernickety, and this is the frustrating thing for me. People disagree in the comments, and that is fine, right? But you're banking. The reason for me, the club, the reason they didn't spend is because they knew the capabilities of the man in charge, i.e., he can turn water into wine. Look what he's done with the players. He'll get us through. Do you know what I mean? And ultimately, and I just felt they sacked him at the first sign of trouble. It is what it is. We've got Jesse Marsch in now, and now everyone's saying the squad's rubbish, has been rubbish, was always rubbish, needed. And I tend to agree. We're now all having a go at the board. This is the thing. This is what Bielsa did in terms of he just kept everyone chilled, man, because it was like we've got Bielsa, like everyone was together. You see it on social media.
He was the
everyone
glue.
can't stand each other. We're now blaming the board for everything, and even blaming them for everything that went wrong with Bielsa. Some are having a go at Bielsa, different opinions, but it's no longer acceptable. It's just like and they've done this. They've done this for me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, it wasn't just that, but when you got that many injuries, we had a starting 11 with 20 legs combined between them. Mm-hmm. We didn't even have a full starting 11, and yet we're not signing anyone. So that can't be put on anyone else.
Dallas had been playing injured pretty much every game. I think Cooper's said it, or Calvin said it, or something like that. He said he's pretty much injured all the time. He just plays through it, and you think he's gonna snap at some point.
Yeah,
something's gonna happen at some point where he can't just carry on playing games.
Yeah, no, exactly. Bang on the money.
Bang on the money. Well.
Yeah, and he had a foot issue, didn't he? And
they said they knew he'd been dealing with it for over a year. They just didn't know it was a plantar fascia or whatever it is in the bottom of his
fasciitis. I've got it on my left foot. It's not nice. I'll tell you that much.
No, but they just because they didn't diagnose that, they thought, right, well, he seems to be consistently getting injured on this leg. Like maybe get a backup striker. There's loads of options around Europe as well.
Yeah. No, it's you bang on the money, and
unfortunately our owners weren't. Hey.
Yeah, no, and there's even getting brought up. It's just come to mind now. I think was it Bielsa's first season or second season in the Championship when we were trying to get over the line, and Victor Orta offered him Billy Sharp and one other, Billy Sharp, and it might have been, who was the guy who was at Brighton? Glenn Murray. Yeah, I think he offered in them two players and Bielsa turned them down. And like someone made a point, well, of course he turned them down. Of course he turned them down. He had a pressing forward. Why is he going to then bring in Billy Sharp or Glenn Murray? Okay, they get goals. So is it also like with the level of players he was bringing? I don't know. I feel like we're just.
You had Nketiah and Bamford to choose from. What the hell is he going to do with Glenn Murray?
Yeah, no, it must have been the first season then. But it is.
Yeah, I think it was when he first came in.
Yeah,
I think it was when he first came in. They said, right, you've got back. Actually, no, it can't have been because they had Roof, didn't we?
Yeah. I think it was when it had got towards the back end of the season, January. It'd have been.
I think it might have been a mistake getting rid of Roof.
No, it's peak. He's just too injury prone. Even now, you've seen it for Rangers. He was probably man of the match in the quarterfinal, and now he's injured for the semis.
But then as a backup striker, if he's not always,
I know, but we couldn't keep on to him. We had to sell players. If we'd gone up that year, we would have kept him. And I think he is honestly, especially under Bielsa, he's he is an elite player. Like the stuff he can do. That goal from the halfway line where he takes on four players and pings it.
He's not elite though. Come on, it's come out of Roof.
It is, man. He was one of our. He was our. If he didn't get injured and the tail end of that first season, we would have gone up.
I agree with that.
He came up with big goals and big moments.
Though, wasn't he? Bamford was
He
dead.
was, but think about what Bamford developed in a couple of years. Think about what Roof could have if he was injury free.
Yeah,
well, that's why we should have signed a young backup striker
yeah.
this season to sort of be Bamford's understudy, and then when Bamford got injured, just play him.
Yeah,
and I also don't understand the resistance to completely just not start Gelhardt. Marsch is doing it as well.
Yeah, no, exactly. Well, everything Bielsa did, Marsch is doing.
Yeah,
it's true.
Including playing Tyler Roberts.
Yeah, Tyler Roberts until he got injured.
Yeah. And look, and those will tell me, look, sacked in 16th.
Okay, look. That's harsh. That's harsh because if you look at Marsch's results, that's a bit harsh on Marsch. Pardon the pun. Or not pun. Right. No, but he's done well since he's come in. I think Bielsa would have.
11 points in 5 games, and we've dropped.
Bielsa got 12, didn't he?
It's like the Ronaldo Messi debate. It's like it gets that point where you want a big one.
Do not put Jesse Marsch in the same category.
No. Okay,
Bielsa,
but what I mean is, you want to big up one. You want to big up one, but then it always comes at the cost of slagging off the other, and me say, I think Bielsa would have. I wouldn't have sacked Bielsa, of course not. I'd have given him £50 million pocket change to take home just for staying with us. But
someone messaged me the other day, said, "Why do you hate him?" I don't hate him. Right? Let me just say that I
don't hate him. I just want to kill him.
No, I do not hate him, Jesse Marsch. I'm just not enjoying the football. And then people will say to me, "Yeah, but it's just okay." I agree with you, but I also feel that it'll probably continue next season as well, and then people will want him out, and I'll just say, well,
I don't think it will.
What you wish for.
I don't think the football is as bad when you're in the ground. I think when you're watching it on the telly, it's horrendous. Like the Watford game, the first half, when we were just giving the ball away every 2 seconds, the Palace game was horrendous to watch. When you're actually in the stadium, like again, the Southampton game, like it's probably looked a bit bitty and dead congested in the middle on the TV, but when you're actually there, the atmosphere and stuff, it's not as bad to watch.
I mean, I've got a season ticket, and I didn't enjoy the Southampton game.
I didn't enjoy it, but I didn't think it was as terrible to watch as when I watched the Palace game on the TV and stuff.
Yeah, okay.
I always enjoy the match day experience.
Saying the same point, but that doesn't change the fact that the football's nowhere near as good. That's just basically saying, because we're drunk, singing, having a good time, soaking in the atmosphere, that you're kind of not thinking about how actually piss poor the performance is. Whereas when you're watching it on TV and that's all you can focus on, then you're appreciating it more. I don't think that's
you also have
to.
It's also weighing it up, though, isn't it? Against it's getting results and the recent patches of Bielsa
for now.
Playing that hadn't got us results. Obviously, throughout his whole time, if you look at the wider picture, we had amazing football and amazing results, which is just like the dream. Yeah. But Marsch, the football hasn't been great to watch. But you've also got to say, he's only had, 6-7 games with this team?
Yeah.
It's not his full philosophy. It's not
next year, you're going to see the real Marsch if we stay up. The real Slim Shady, if you will.
We'll see.
If we stay
up. We'll see. I've set my stall out. Listen.
You set your bucket out.
I want to be proven wrong. We have done an hour, and I'm conscious of time. But we have
coming up.
I know, right? I've got a stream tonight, 7:45. Join me, Man City versus Real Madrid. If you want to come back for that. Jared Fletcher says, Joe, happy days ahead, man. Come to Florida to escape the chaos and bring your Crocs. Love that. What we were supposed to do on this stream was chat about points return over the next 4 and whether or not we're going to stay up. We ended up going down a bit of a rabbit hole, but that's totally fine, right? It was natural. It just came out. It is what it is. I just want to get the guests' points return on if we're going to stay up. I've had a few comments coming as well. Jason said he reckons 5 will be enough. Max goes with the same number. John is convinced it's going to come down to the Brentford game. Champs Bro is hoping for 7. But 9 points for me will be massive. Of course, at 9 points, she's staying up 100%. Big shout out Diana as well, who is Lewis's mum, who responded earlier on to say, I'm Lewis's man, don't sweat it. It's all good. And she said, as I've said time and time, lads, we have to concentrate on our results. They know what they have to do. Big shout out to them.
It was all alleged. It was
but yeah, good. Right. Max, give us a points return of the next 4, and are Leeds United going to stay in the Premier League?
I think we're going to get 6 points, and I think we're going to stay up with those 6 points. I don't think it's going to be against who you think it's going to be. I think we're going to pull one out of the bag and beat one of the teams we're not supposed to beat, and then lose against Brentford or something stupid like that.
Yeah. Okay.
But I think 6 is enough.
6, yeah. JT?
Come on. 4-2. 4-2. 4-2. 42 points we need to finish on. So, yeah. I'd say we'll get 9, though. I want to get, we need at least 9 minimum.
Man. You're worse than me. For
9 minimum. 43. Look, no. We will get 9 points. We will.
9. Who's the one we drop them in?
Chelsea.
Yeah. I swear you're a secret Chelsea fan, me.
Yeah, what can I say?
I'm joking. See, I think we get... I do think we win both our own games. I've said for a while, I think we beat Chelsea. I do. I think we beat them 2-1. I think we beat Brighton as well. 6, maybe 1 on the last day. But I'm going to go with 6. And as long as we get over 37... 36, I think we'll be all right. Matt, are you a Bielsa or a Leeds fan? I am a Leeds fan, mate, who loves Bielsa because he was the best manager that we've had in my lifetime. It's the best
United
football that I've seen in my lifetime. And I do love the man. And if he rocks up at Chivas, I'll buy a Chivas shirt as well. I'm one of them. I don't care. Do you know what I mean? I do not care. You should appreciate it. Maybe it's an age thing. I'd love to know people's age who throw shade at the man. I think it's disrespectful to throw shade at the man.
People are fickle these days. They don't remember what people have given them.
Yeah,
you know.
Exactly.
Yeah, people forget too quickly nowadays. Sad.
Yeah.
Brutal game.
Everything.
Game of football.
Built by Bielsa. Yeah, is what it is.
A bunch of Leeds fans, eh? Yeah. Like a Marsch fans, should I say.
That's
what you should respond to. Are you a Jesse Marsch fan or a Leeds fan?
Yeah, exactly. Cool. Right, Max, tell us where we can find you, what's on the channel, what's your next video, what to expect. So I want every one of these 300 and odd people that are watching, please go over on Max's channel.
Check him out. He's been on form lately.
Cheers, but it's just Leeds Lately on YouTube, and then if you want to find me on Twitter, it's Leeds_lately for that daily Leeds chat, and then on the channel, a couple of videos a week, mostly like match reactions, match day vlogs. Then I've done a lot of transfers videos where I've done like scouting reports basically on players from around Europe who we haven't signed. But I do that sort of thing, and then I've done some videos rating our squad, that sort of thing, basically. So just general Leeds chat and on a weekly basis, basically.
Yeah, it's really good. It is really good, mate. And like I say, I'm sure it will grow and grow and grow over time, and we'll certainly have you back if you're game, mate. So just let me know.
Definitely, I've enjoyed it.
If you are a Leeds fan, make sure you go over there. If you're a Bielsa fan, then we're moonwalking over to 1K over here. So Bielsa fans come over here, Leeds fans over there, and Marsch fans stay right here for Joe. I mean, looking highly enough about them.
Soon to be heavily featuring Chivas, Mexican football. I'm brushing up as we speak. But go on over to James's channel as well. Have you got anything coming up, James?
I've got a stream today. I'm going to be streaming the game, and the week of football should be coming out at the end of this week. Make sure you stay tuned for that one. The week of football coming right at you.
There you go. Yeah, the hype man. The hype man's in the house.
The hype man is in the house.
I think we'll leave it there. I'm going to have some to eat, and then I'll be back in a bit for Real Madrid versus Man City. Thank you, lads, for coming on, and thanks for having me. Watching.